In this question, we were asked to consider the measurements and state whether it's in an appropriate unit, and if not, explain why and convert it to a more appropriate unit. This is somewhat subjective, and if you don't have a lot of exposure with these particular measurements, you might kind of be saying, well, I'm not sure. But so the answer, if you want to pause the video, it's no for every single one. So you could go through this and maybe work through that and kind of determine maybe why the answer would be no. But I'm going to say that right now. So if you do hiking or climbing, typically mountains are listed in meters, not centimeters, so more appropriate. Diameter of a water bottle, I'm going to say probably centimeters or maybe millimeters. This is just it's just too small of a number. Really what we're trying to do is to get these numbers more into line with kind of numbers that we have more experience with or more exposure to. The world's tallest bear. A bear is about the height of a human being, and human beings are usually measured in centimeters or meters. So this would probably be more appropriate in meters. And whooping crane's wingspan, again, this is a really, really small number. You could measure it in centimeters or you could measure it in meters. So you could make an argument, either way. So it's going to be your choice. It's somewhat subjective. Once again, do you have these things memorized or using a formula sheet? I'm not sure. So here I want a connection between meters and centimeters. There are 100 centimeters is equal to 1 meter, and using that as a ratio, this is true. 1 meter is the same as 100 centimeters, and I could have written it on the, reverse the order top and bottom, but now that I have meters and centimeters established, I need meters and centimeters, and this is going to be 595,900, and I want to know how many meters that is, so I'm going to multiply these numbers together and then divide by 100. Dividing by 100, every time you divide by 10, it makes the number smaller. It's going to move it to here and move it to here. So 5,959 meters is the height of Mount Logan, tallest mountain in Canada. The diameter of a water bottle is this many meters. Let's change that to centimeters, maybe a more appropriate. Millimeters would also be fine. Same deal here, 100 centimeters equals 1 meter. So you could set up the proportion if that's the way that you want to do it. That would be fantastic. What I'm going to see happening here is the same. No, this one got smaller. This one's going to get bigger. Instead of dividing by 100, I'm going to multiply by 100. Every time you multiply by 10, you make the number bigger. So this is going to be 6.4 centimeters. And maybe that would be better as 640 millimeters. I don't know. Millimeters. I'm going to compare that to a human being, which is going to be more meters. So millimeters, there are 1,000 millimeters is equal to 1 meter. If I use that as my conversion factor, so here's my ratio, 1,000 millimeters, 1 meter. Doesn't matter which one goes on the top and the bottom, but once I have that, keep the same order over here. I'm given 4,200 millimeters, and I want to know how many meters that's equal to. So here's my complete diagonal, and then divide by 1,000. Dividing by 1,000 is going to make the number smaller. Divided by 10, divided by 100, divided by 1,000. So 4.2 meters. I'm, a little bit under 2 meters. So a bear is twice as big as me. That seems like a reasonable answer. And now this one's a weird one. So kilometers, I'm going to think either meters or centimeters. So let's go meters. There are 1,000 meters is equivalent to 1 kilometer. So I could use that as my ratio. 1 kilometer is equivalent to 1,000 meters. And once I've done that, I need the same order over here. So kilometers and meters. And here's where the number is that I'm given. So 00195. And I want to know how many meters that is. So multiply the numbers on the complete diagonal, divide by 1. Dividing by 1 doesn't change anything. So we're multiplying by 1,000. Every time we multiply by 10, we make the number bigger. So 1, 10, 100, 1,000. So 1.95 meters. And if you choose to change that to centimeters, it will be 100 times bigger. It'll be 195 centimeters, also an appropriate answer.